everybody. Welcome back to Four Low Rocks. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike, and I'm here with Joe and Robert. And today we're going to do a little rig review and a little bit of a walk around to kind of show a little bit different ways of building a JL out as compared to the way I've done mine with my JKS suspension. Both of these guys have taken very similar routes with the same kind of parts and the same kind of build. And we've been out wheeling all day today, getting some flex and checking out how they're working. And now we'd like to talk a little bit about the builds.
Well, you have your standard suspension, and then you got what we call top of the line, which is pretty much coilovers for the Jeep. And basically what that's allowing you to do is get a max amount of flex on every angle you can approach on versus a regular suspension like a 3-inch lift with normal shocks.
And the other benefit of coilovers is it's road manners. You have a lot less body roll with coilovers. You can take corners faster and tighter, and the ride is just better on coilovers.
So for those of you who don't know, what a coilover does is it actually takes where your stock Jeep has the coil springs and the shocks separated, which creates a little bit of an angular difference on the way they're moving at the time. The coil goes over the shock just like it does on many road cars and many sports cars. I understand, Robert, that it gives you a much better on-road ride?
Yes, it actually really does. It's a very smooth, I mean, I've ran lots of different suspensions from Fox to TerraFlex Falcon shocks, now up to coilovers, and I can tell you the coilovers, hands down, it's the ultimate ride for a Jeep.
Thank you, Robert. Joe, I understand this is the first time you guys have really had it out on a trail today, that you put the coilovers on it. Can you tell me your impressions of the ride?
My impressions are that it's very smooth, it's very capable. I've got a JK with the same coilover setup, so I kind of knew what to expect, but I was pleasantly surprised at how smooth the JL coilover system is.
Okay. And how does the owner of the Jeep feel?
The owner of the Jeep likes how it looks, and that's what's important.
Okay, thanks guys. How about if we take a walk back to the Jeeps and take a look at some particulars. Maybe you can tell me how the installation was done and how things looked from your install experience. So we're at the front end of Kim's Jeep. Joe is the builder, of course, and Joe's going to tell us a little bit about how this coilover suspension went into the Jeep.
Okay, so this is what the Rebel calls their bolt-on system, so you don't have to weld anything. There is some drilling you have to do. You do have to cut the spring pad up here to allow for the hydraulic bump stop. Other than that, it's all bolted on, and everything is in kit form, so it's actually pretty simple.
Okay. Can you tell me how much lift you think you got out of this new suspension?
I'm estimating about 5.5 inches, but the lift itself can go anywhere from, I think, 3.5 to 8 inches of lift.
Great. Okay, thank you. So we're at the back of Robert's Star Wars themed Jeep, as you've probably seen in the video already. And he's going to tell us a little bit about the same kind of suspension setup, but on the rear end of how his installation went and what has to be done to put the coilovers on his JL.
It wasn't a pretty simple process. Basically, we cut off, I'd say about 1 inch of where the shock mount was before, and then with the Rebel Recon coilover kit, it actually just bolts right through a couple drill holes, and then this plate goes on, and then there's a plate that is at the top of the spring that mounts into the body and into the shock, and then that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Just a few drill holes, and
Good to go.
it's good to go.
How would you say, how much time do you think you put into the installation on this kit?
I would say we spent a pretty good 6 hours on the front and about 6 hours on the back, so about a good 12 hours worth of time to get it installed.
In your driveway, or did you do it on a lift?
We actually did it in Joe Caldwell's driveway.
Okay. Alrighty, and I see it's got the lower control arm skid plates already there, so good to go for upcoming trips to places like the Rubicon.
Yeah, we'll be taking it on the Rubicon here in September. I'm also planning on taking it out into Moab. There's a few things that I am changing out. I am changing out the drive shafts because this is sitting on about a 5.5 inch lift right now, and I don't have enough clearance on that front drive shaft at full flex in it. I already took out the front boot.
Oh, okay.
So it's something to take into consideration. I'm also going with a full underbelly of Artec aluminum skid plating with the dual cross members, and just going to armor it up under there.
So that's a good point, guys, is that front drive shaft. When you start lifting your Jeep up to this point, you really got to look at that angle and what it's doing to the front drive shaft when it's at full flex. And make sure that you've got that well taken care of if you're good with the stock or if you need to go to an aftermarket setup.
The kit featured on both of these rigs is the Recon Complete Coilover Kit for the JL Wrangler by Rebel Off-Road. The kit comes with everything you've seen on these two rigs to bolt on a new coilover suspension with some cutting and drilling, but no welding required.
So that kind of concludes of our review, our rig walk around of this coilover suspension setup. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the clips of these Jeeps working out on the trail. And I hope you come back and please hit that subscribe button because it means a whole lot to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to leave a comment below. And if you haven't already done so, please click that subscribe button as it means a lot to me and it helps to support the channel. Lastly, please follow 4Low Rocks on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, happy wheeling.